Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about mastering your mind. I'm going to help you with everything I've got to master your mind, pretty much everything I've got that's going to fit into a reasonable time in this video. Who am I to talk about mastering your mind? I'm somebody who's studied the mind pretty much my entire adult life, my whole adult life. And I've learned a lot, especially over the past 8 years. It's like life, you're born, and then you realize sometime in your adulthood, wow, I'm a mess. It's messy in here. I don't like the way I feel. Let me clean this up. And so I'm very smart. I'm a smart individual, but all my smarts weren't serving me because I was suffering. I suffered for a long time. I had clinical depression, anxiety, autoimmune issues. I had a traumatic childhood. I had lots of chaotic stuff happening in my adulthood, chaotic, toxic relationships, relationship patterns, so on and so forth. Just recurring patterns over and over again. I was embedded in the pain of my mind. My mind was my master and I was its servant. And so now over the past 8 years especially, I've come to really understand and know and practice and live. So I went through this phase of studying and then actually living, mastering the mind. So let me get started. Let's get started, and I'm going to give you some valuable tools today to help you to master your mind. This is all part of my new upcoming live interactive program called Master Your Mind. So it's one thing to learn. I'm going to teach you lots of things today. You're going to learn a lot today. Get your notebooks, start writing stuff down. A lot of this stuff is, everything I'm going to tell you is going to be very, very valuable. Nothing's going to get in this video that's not valuable to you. That's my promise. That's my guarantee. So I'm going to teach you a lot, but learning's only part of the journey. You have to actually practice this stuff. So in addition to giving you all this, I'm also putting on a live, interactive, month-long program where you're meeting with me live sessions on a weekly basis for a month. That starts this Friday, February 23rd. So it's one thing to learn about this stuff, but it really served me to have mentors and teachers and guidance and structure. And so that's what I'm providing starting this Friday. If that resonates with you and you want to have a container where you're getting rid of social media, you're getting rid of junk, you're getting focused, you're mastering your mind, you're actually putting into practice what I'm going to teach you today, click the link below if that feels like something that you're up to, that you're up for. It starts February 23rd. And then it goes for a month. Okay, so let's get started. Number one tool is presence. Presence. But before we get into presence, I want to explain what the mind is. What is the mind? The mind is a computer. So let's let this denote mind. And then I'm going to put an equal sign because it's neutral. There's nothing about the mind that's bad or good. It's just neutral. It just stores stuff. So your mind is a storage unit, kind of. It's kind of a storage unit. It's a tool. It's a neutral thing. So what's in the mind? It's filled with beliefs. Spelling on this is tricky. Beliefs. Let me fix that. Beliefs. Okay? Beliefs. It's filled with, Jesus, I hope I spelled beliefs right. It's like beliefs, memories. It's filled with your childhood events, traumas. It's filled with all kinds of stuff. It's filled with your views, all this stuff. Your parents' beliefs. It's just culture, it's filled with stuff. Okay, your mind is filled with stuff. Your mind's filled with the input you give it. Input. It's harder than you think to write on this thing. Okay, input. So your mind is just basically a conglomeration of all this stuff. Some of it's junk, some of it's not, some of it's masterpieces, some of it's garbage. So this is your mind. Okay. This is it. And if we have not yet mastered our mind, the mind is filled with lots of stuff. There's snakes in here. There's goblins. I'm a terrible drawer, so we'll just draw a little Pac-Man thing. It's filled with all kinds of stuff, broken hearts, like chaos, trauma. Your mind is filled with stuff. Okay, so this is what the mind is. So what happens when we've got this mind? What happens when we got this mind that's filled with all kinds of stuff running the show, and we say, okay, mind, you go ahead, you run the show. A lot of people do this. Most people live like this. They let their mind run their day from start to finish. Then what happens is then we got a bunch of, okay, we wake up in the morning and we worry. We wake up in the morning and we're distracted. We wake up in the morning and it's just basically chaos is emitted from the mind. It's lots of chaos emitted from the mind. When you're living life from your mind and you're letting your mind master you, your life is chaos. So this is why it doesn't matter what goals you set. It's nice to set goals. It's nice to change your habits or try to change your habits. It's nice to try to make changes in the outer world. It's very nice to try to change these ripples on the outside. It's great. So we can focus on the ripples on the outside. And a lot of people do this. They say, I'm 20 pounds overweight. I better lose weight. Yes, you should, or 30 pounds or whatever. Yes, it's a good idea to lose some weight. But then they have a hard time sticking to a diet, and they're wondering, like, let's let this line symbolize diet, sleep, fitness, healthy, drinking enough water, whatever. For some reason, when I'm trying to do these things, I'm not able to stick to it for more than 3 months or whatever. I keep falling back. I'm going to draw an arrow back to the mind. I keep falling back to my old habits, and I don't know why. That's because we're trying to fix external things. We're trying to fix things out here when really this is the engine of our life. Your mind, that you've given your life to your mind. You've let your mind run the show. You say, come on, brain, you go ahead and tell me how to be today. And then your brain tells you, cool, got it. Let's do some stuff. And then when you are not getting the things that you want and you're wondering why, it's because you've got a faulty pattern. You've got a faulty network in charge. So that's when your brain is run by the small self. When your brain is not mastered, it's the small self brain. We'll put small self, SS. The small self brain is filled with all kinds of nonsense and garbage. We'll put like stink lines and stuff. The small self brain is small self brain. The small self brain will always continue to reverberate bad patterns, bad habits, bad situations. The small self brain is not a good manager of your life, okay? The small self brain makes messes in your life. It just does. That's how the small self works, the small self mind. So we can't keep giving our life away to the small mind, to the little me. That's not a good idea. That's not a good way to live. So let me talk about the tools for how to master your mind, because otherwise we're just playing whack-a-mole. For instance, you might be dating the same kind of person over and over again, just same-ish, different person, same patterns, different people. Why do you keep attracting these people? Because your mind has not been mastered yet. Because there's stuff in your mind, there's things in there that you have not yet cleared out. Okay? Why do I keep ending up in the same situation over and over again? It's because your mind is your master and you're not the master of your mind. So there's two options. There's two options ever. You can either be the master of your mind or it can be the master of you. And if your mind is the master of you and your mind's got you by the scruff and it's dragging you all over the place, your life is going to be a mess. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how great your house is. I don't care how great your career is. Your mind is a terrible master. You can check with any of those celebrities that were multimillionaires who committed suicide. Hate to bring the house down, but look, success and money and outward things, that doesn't necessarily make for a healthy mind. So to be the master of your mind means you are the master of your mind. And you, we're going to get to this in a minute, you are not the mind. So this is part one. So we just got to that's the introductory matter. Now part one, you're not your mind. How do you master your mind? You master your mind by understanding you are not your mind. You're not your mind. Now this is an idea that you're not going to understand right just the second. You might have heard this, but I'm going to help you to understand it and experience it right now. You are not your mind. You're not your thoughts. You're not your identity. You're not your name. You're not your body. You're not your mind. Very important, you're not your mind. This is part one, step one, foundation one of having a joyful, peaceful, healthy life is embodying and knowing that you are not your mind. So how do we do this? Tool number one I'm going to offer you is presence. Presence. Presence, okay? Presence. Presence. To master your mind, step number one is presence. What is presence? Presence is you. Presence is what you are. Presence is a direct experience of your eternal nature. So there's something behind the mind that allows you to know that you're alive. There's something that gives you the ability to know that you're thinking. There's something that gives you the ability to know that you're aware. That's called presence. It's also just simply being here. Being here. Not being in your thoughts. Being here. Presence is depth. So there's ripples in life. The surface level ripples of life. And these are thoughts. These are your thoughts. Thoughts are happening all the time. They're never going to not be happening. You're always going to have thoughts up there. You're always going to have thoughts up there, and that's fine. But it's one thing to live, and a lot of people do this. They have their little surfboard, and they're just riding the waves of their thoughts. And they're on the thought patterns, and they're in the thoughts, and they're living from the thinking mind, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. This is your mind owning you. This is also the third dimensional world and all the surface level BS owning you. This is problems and situations owning you, because you can't, if you're just living at thought level, and that means every time you're having a thought, you're in the thought, you're not actually free to experience the truth of who and what you are. However, if you go beyond the surface level of the mind and you get down to the depths, if this is an ocean, guess what's never happening in the depths of the ocean? There's never ripples in the depths of the ocean. It's always calm. It's always tranquil. It's always smooth. It's always deep. There's always a suchness down here. So presence is the act of anytime, anywhere, taking it down to reality. And how do we do this? Real practical. I'm going to give you some practical tools. Feel your body. Feel more. Feel your body. Feel your hands. Notice your feet on the ground. Notice the air coming in and out of your lungs. Notice the sensation of the sun on your skin. Notice that you're alive without thinking about it. Notice that when you stop thinking about things, or you stop focusing on the thinking, so you let the thoughts happen, thoughts are going to happen, whatever, but you go beyond the thinking. You get deeper than the thinking. And so feel more and notice thoughts. So notice thoughts, notice them. And if you're noticing the thoughts, then you're in the witness. They call it the witness consciousness, but that's the awareness, that's the presence. You have to be paying attention to be aware of your thoughts. So instead of being infused with the thought of, this a-hole isn't driving fast enough, what is he doing? He almost killed me, he cut me off, and this and that. You're actually noticing the thought, and it gives you freedom and it gives you space, noticing the thought. Feel more, notice thoughts, and then meditation. Meditation is a way to practice feeling and noticing thoughts. So meditation is an extended chunk of time where you're feeling more and you're noticing your thoughts. But presence, look, you don't have to do anything to be more present. You can be present with me right here, right now. I'm going to give you a little tool. This is a Zen tool. This is from Zen Buddhism. So ask yourself, I wonder what I'm going to think next. Now see, there was a space there where you didn't have any thoughts. And in that space, you were paying attention. And that's presence. Paying attention. We could also call it paying attention. Paying attention without labeling. Paying attention without fusing yourself to things. So there's a siren song. I want to talk about this. This is really important because there's a siren song to these surface level ripples. They seem very, very tempting. The surface level ripples, the thoughts. Thoughts will seduce you. There are millions of thoughts happening every day, millions of them. Most of them are nonsense. 90% of your thoughts are nonsense. So I want you to keep in mind, so this ties in with presence. So thoughts are mostly useless. Thoughts are mostly useless. I'd say about 89% are mostly useless. Okay? That's because most of them are coming from your past, past influences, past situations, past dramas. They're also coming from worries about the future. So I want you to start practicing the fact that thoughts are 90% useless, 89 to 90% useless. Start practicing that. Practice it just for a day and see how it goes. So let go of thoughts that are useless thoughts. So you notice your thoughts and then you let go of the ones that you don't want. Most of the thoughts you have are thoughts that you don't want anyway. And the thing about the temptation of thoughts is, like I said, they will draw you in, my friend. They will draw you in and they'll say, but this thought's important. This thought I want to really think about. Let's really dig into this thought. Let's worry about the bill. Let's worry about the thing he said or the thing she said. Let's think about, let's ruminate. Let's really get in there and let's think about it because we need to think about it. No, nothing will ever come from the thought process because it's not at the highest level. The highest level, oddly enough, I'm going to again go back to the depths. The depths is where we solve problems. This is where we figure things out. This is where all the things that matter happen. None of this stuff matters up here most of the time. This is where stuff happens. The depths, going deep. So if you want to figure out a problem, or you want to get peace, or you want to get some kind of success going, or if you want to figure out a habit, if you want to break a bad habit, you have to stop being in the surface level of life, focused on thoughts, focused on nonsense, and you have to go into the depths. Which leads me to the next part. Number two tool This is very important. All of this is important. Number 2. Can you guess what it is? Number 2 is focus. Focus. To master your mind, you need to have focus. What are you focused on? You have a finite amount of energy and focus. A finite amount of energy and focus every day. We only have so many hours in the day to give to what matters to you. So focus. Focus. Okay? What matters to me? So I'm going to give you A. Focus. Number A. Letter A. What matters? What matters to you? What matters to you? What is your primary focus in life? Your primary focus is, what matters to me? Ask yourself what matters to you. Personally, I value freedom. I value excellence. I value health and vibrancy. I value honesty and integrity. I value love and respect. Those are some of the things that matter to me. But really, honestly, truly, and meaningful work matters to me a lot. And that's one of my primary focuses right now is meaningful work. And also growing better every day really matters to me. So get to writing right now. Pause the video if you want and write down what matters to you. Letter B, principles. We have to get principles. We're going to cover a lot of this stuff in the program, and we're going to actually do this stuff in real time. So you're going to have more time to kind of suss this out, but principles. I want to show you something. So I've got some principles here. I have my principles. I print them out. I put them in a nice frame, and I put them in my office where I can see them every day. Okay? So these are some of my principles. These are my life principles. So, and I also have a mission. Principles, and then C, we can put mission. What's your mission? What is it? What's your mission? I'll tell you what, this is important for mastering your mind. You've been put here for a special reason. All of us have. And that sounds like it's putting a lot of pressure on you. It's not. It's not a big deal. There's not a lot of pressure there. You know, it bubbles up what your mission is, what you value, what your mission is. It might be to be an excellent family member, contributor to your family. It might be to help others, to help all creatures, to end suffering, whatever your mission is. I don't know what your mission is, but you have a mission. So get clear on your mission. Okay? What matters, principles, and mission. Why? Why do we do this? We do this because then it helps to inform us of our goals. Now look, number one that we talked about, the presence, that's based in the vertical dimension. Okay? We're talking vertical dimension. That means your eternal nature, your spirit, your soul, the Atman, the connection with God, presence. Presence is a spiritual practice. Now focus, when we're present and we have focus, so focus is getting us on the horizontal dimension. So these bisect, okay? This stuff, focus, if we just focus on all the goals and all the principles and your mission and all that, it's great. It'll get you a long way, but it won't get you as far as when you're combining it with the principles, with the presence. So we have to combine the spiritual and the physical both to master the mind. So I just wanted to clear that up because I know we can look at this and think that sounds kind of Tony Robbins-ish. So Tony Robbins doesn't really talk about principles. But I know this looks kind of self-helpish and it looks kind of like rudimentary. This stuff is time immemorial. They've been talking about this stuff because it works. And this helps to laser beam your mind. Why do we need to do this stuff? By the way, I put a little template for the guiding life principles. I put a template for you below in the description bar. for your guiding principles. So I want you to go ahead and make a copy. It's going to say make a copy. So click make a copy, fill it out, print it out, order a nice frame, go to Home Goods, go to Hobby Lobby, go to Amazon, get yourself a nice frame, and then put it somewhere nice, hang it up. And these are your guiding principles. I'll share some of my principles with you. Number one, embody what you aim to teach. My meaningful work is my number one priority. So I want to embody what I teach. Number two, live your life authentically and freely. Living my life authentically and freely is a principle that I will never compromise on. I don't care what anybody has to think or say about my choices. Most people don't care or think about my choices anyway. So I'm living my life authentically. I'm just going to give one more of this list. All fellow humans are my family. All fellow humans are my family. I put that on my principles because that changes the way that I interface with life. When I get into my car and somebody almost hits my car, I'm in Austin and the driving out here is terrible. Somebody almost hits my car or somebody cuts me off or whatever, they're my family. If that's my brother or that's my sister, you know, it's way different than if it's just some stranger. It makes my interfacing with the world so much more rewarding, enriching, and healthy. So those are just a few principles. Get yourself some really good principles. Why do we need to do this? Because look, now we've got a structure now. So now when we've got our time, every day you've got a set amount of hours, and every day in those set amount of hours, we've got 10 or so blocks. So I'll put five blocks, each with 2 hours. Okay, so you got a set amount of hours. And if you're using your focus on what matters, principles, your mission, your goals, now these 10 precious waking hours that you've got to live out your mission, your principles, your goals, and what really matters to you, they're going to look a whole hell of a lot different than if you didn't have these things. Guess what you're not going to be doing when you've got these things in your mind? When you've got a mission for your life, you're not going to be spending it on scrolling. You're not going to be spending it doing habits that don't serve you. You're not going to be doing it wasting your time. You're not going to be surrounding yourself with the same kind of people. These 10 precious hours per day, they get used way differently when you've got this stuff in line, right? So let's talk about piggybacking off of focus. I want to talk about, I'm gonna mark this number 3, but really this is like 2 point something. I want to talk about content, input. This is going to change your life, okay? Input. So there's a principle called garbage in, garbage out. This is a universal law. Garbage in, garbage out. A lot of people think that Michelangelo, Steve Jobs, the Jackson 5, Hemingway, whatever, anybody with any excellence, that they were excellent because they were just born excellent. 100% of the people that you see that are excellent because of their input, because of their influences, because of where they went to school, because of the people around them, because of the parents, because of the environment they grew up in, because of their influences, because of their coaches, because of their teachers, because of what they learned, because of what they read. None of it is because of they've got talent. Everybody who's done anything excellent has talent, and they've got some guidance from the higher power, but it was input. So you can't expect to have a good meal. Let's say you're cooking dinner. Let's say you're cooking dinner and I come to your place and I say, here's a box of donuts, here's a bag of Cheez-Its, here's a can of Spam, here's a case of Diet Pepsi. Cook some dinner with it. How do you think that dinner's going to taste? It's going to taste terrible. That's not going to be much of a meal. And that's because the ingredients are garbage. And today, we've got a sea of garbage. We're living in garbage island, okay? There's lots of garbage out there, tons of it. What I mean by that is all the little short form. I'm going to put short form. Short form is garbage, okay? Short form is garbage. Short form leads to distractions. It leads to poor cognition. It takes away your energy. It takes away your focus. It takes away your drive. Short form is everything the opposite of what you want to do when you're wanting to master your mind. Okay? So get off of short form. I don't even care how great the quality of the short form is. There's a reason I don't do short form on this channel, because it's garbage. I can't teach you anything valuable in 20 seconds. It's garbage. Sure, there's some nice little entertaining things here and there, but most of it's garbage, okay? So we get rid of short form. Short form's out of there, okay? Also, TV. I am going to just pan you really quick. This is where a TV is supposed to be in my place. I don't have a TV. Instead, I put a little flower vase there. Sometimes it's got flowers, sometimes it doesn't. Put some candles, whatever. I don't have a TV. I hate TV. I haven't had a TV in 12 years now. Instead of having a TV, I've done so much for myself. I've gotten so much done. I've mastered new skills. I've mastered new hobbies. I've learned new things. I read at least 2 books a week, sometimes more. I go outside an awful lot. I have adventures. This isn't me bragging. This is just me telling you. If you're watching TV, let's say it's 1 hour at the end of 1 hour. 1 hour of screen time, TV time, whatever. At the end of the day, you want to discharge. You're watching an hour of TV at the end of your day. I don't want to make you feel guilty. There's nothing wrong with it if that's what your heart really wants you to do. But your heart probably doesn't really want you watching TV. And it's garbage in, garbage out. So TV, 1 hour of garbage in, because most TV is garbage. Most TV is garbage. 1 hour at the end of a month is 30 hours. And at the end of, I don't want to embarrass myself and try to do math, but I think it's something like you get like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 30 hours each month. Yeah, it's something like you're getting like 2 weeks per year. Something like that, 2 weeks per year. Or 14 days. It's about 14 days, I think. So that's 2 whole weeks. You could take a vacation. You could learn something new. You could, I don't know, whatever. But that's 2 weeks of just garbage in. And it's it's not just what you're losing in that 1 hour. There's a compound interest. So there's a law of entropy. I want to write this down because this is important. So there's a law of entropy. There's something called entropy. Entropy. This is a law in the universe, something called entropy. Entropy means that everything is subject to decay. Everything. We are always fighting entropy. Always. Your body, your mind, your belongings, your clothes, your skin, all of it. It's all degrading with time. And so there's a curve here, a natural curve of like the quality of life. If you just leave everything alone and you just keep going as is, your mind, the state of your mind, the quality of your mind, the quality of your life, it will continue to degrade over time. If we're not vigilant, it's all subject to entropy. If you don't put practices into place, it's subject to entropy. And when we're talking about the mind, that's why I'm talking about compound interest, because that 1 hour of TV every day, it's not just costing you in the 2 weeks of time. Like, who cares about 2 weeks? I know it's not that much time in the grand scheme of things. But here's what you're doing also. You are contributing to the momentum of that entropy of your mind. Your mind over time will decay if we don't put systems in place that keep it on the uptrend. The opposite of entropy is growth. I don't know that that's the exact opposite of entropy, but we can use life to grow better. So imagine at the end of the day, if you take that 1 hour and you did it to something that enriched your mind, body, and spirit, whether that's a walk, a bike ride, a talk with your loved one, connecting with your husband, having a massage, foam rolling, writing stuff down in a journal, I don't know, whatever. You don't have to do it all the time, but making an effort most of the time to spend that 1 hour of free time towards something that fights entropy in your mind. And that gives us a nice curve up. Have you ever met senior citizens who are just exceptional? I have. One of my best friends is an artist named Helen Yole here in Austin, and she is constantly, every day, growing better. She doesn't watch TV. The only time she watches TV is so that she can get art, like inspiration. But you won't catch her on a Saturday afternoon vegging out in front of a TV, and she's like in her late 70s. Have you ever met a senior citizen who's crabby, complaining, disjointed, all over the place? They love sitting in front of the TV. They love it. That's entropy at work. So garbage in, garbage out. If we don't want the garbage results, and we don't want entropy to happen, and we don't want a mashup of Cheez-Its and Spam and chocolate donuts to cook dinner with, then we've got to put good in, good out. Good in, good out. So get rid of your TV, get off the shorts, clean up your mind, and and get the input squared away. Okay? So let me see how I'm doing on time. 37 minutes. Yeah, this is going to get kind of long. So I'm going to offer you one last thing. And so the one last thing I'm going to offer you, this is very important, is I'm going to go with God. Okay? God. Now, this is not a religious channel. I love Buddha. I love Jesus. I love Krishna. I do. I love all of them. If we don't give our mind to God, which is presence, which is what I was talking about earlier, without giving our mind to God, then you're a servant. If you're not serving God, and I know that's a very Christian term, but just look, if you're not living for God, then you're living for illusion. It's God or it's illusion. And God could be, God, that word is such a loaded word. God is love, okay? God is truth. God is freedom. God is prosperity. Prosperity for God's sake, prosperity as a result of God, not prosperity for like material possession and acquisition. There's a big difference there. But then illusion is we're living with the illusion that, so if we live for God, then life is for all these things. Life is for loving, life is for truth, life is for freedom, life is for prosperity, life is for joy. This is what life is for. And when we're living for God, happiness is the way. Okay? Happiness is the way. When you're living for God, happiness is the way. When you're living for illusion, some people call that Satan. I don't like to use that symbol because I think it's just it has a lot of baggage. But illusion, okay, darkness, nonsense, the lies. This is the ego. You're either living for God or the illusion, and this is ego. So if you're living for your ego, then everything's about getting. Get. What can life give me? Get, avoid. You're avoiding losing things. You're avoiding feeling things. You're avoiding pain. You're avoiding whatever. Get, avoid, more get, avoid, right? There's just not much else besides get and avoid. Get, avoid. And then there's some fear and judgment sprinkled in there. Fear and judgment. And every so often you get what you want and you get some fleeting happiness. But here you're looking for happiness. So what will make me happy is the question here. This is the driving question of the ego. What will make me happy? How can I be happy? What will make me happy? The driving question or the driving statement when you're living for God is happiness is the way. Happiness is now. Happiness is a state of being that I choose. That is the way. That is the way to love, truth, freedom, prosperity, joy. And we're already here in this lane anyway because we're living for God. And how do you live for God? You maintain presence in the face of the temptations of the ego. And the temptations of the ego are always thoughts, worries, concerns, judgments, complaints, attacking. And that's an endless loop. Worries, fears, judgment, complaining. Worries, fears, judgment, complaining. What am I going to get? What can I avoid? What am I going to get? What can I avoid? What am I going to get? What can I avoid? What am I going to get? When am I going to get it? How am I going to get it? And then when you move over to presence. I am here right now. Happiness is the way. I choose to give love. I choose to live in the truth. Let go of the thoughts that are trying to draw me in. They're just thoughts. They are not who and what I am. I am living for freedom. Freedom means getting into the depths, going below the surface level thoughts, going below the surface level nonsense of life. Prosperity, meaning enjoying what you receive, enjoying it with an open heart. That's prosperity. Enjoying all the things that you receive. Breath, health, longevity, movement, energy, vitality, love, conversation, connection. There's prosperity everywhere. And it's flowing to you all the time. Prosperity, joy for nothing, joy for no reason. Joy for no reason, joy because you're not a slave to your mind. Happiness is the way because you are already all of these things. Okay? So I'm going to close it there because, geez Louise, 43 minutes. Can't believe it. Time flies when you're having fun. So you guys, these are some of the principles that I discuss in the program coming up this month. If you want to actually practice with me, we're going to be doing a month-long weekly live sessions for a month as a container to practice. We're going to get off social media. We're going to get off of shorts. We're going to unplug your TV. We're going to get you feeling like a new person. You're going to master your mind. You're going to master your mind through joy, through connection, through peace, through love. You're going to feel more joyful, peaceful, and loving. You're going to get more things done. You're going to focus on what matters to you. Have you had a dream or a goal that you've not yet accomplished and you can't quite seem to get it because you're not sure why? Because you're scared? Yeah, that's the kind of thing we're going to be working on this month. We're going to be working on also getting rid of your unsavory habits. So the habits that have been driving your patterns that have been driving your habits. Those are some things we're going to work on this month also. Those habits that you can't seem to crack, those are 100% of this. You got to master your mind, my friend. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. There's going to be worksheets that are timeless. and we're going to be meeting your future self. So there's a whole concept that I really love adding in to help get you mastering your mind, and that's your future self. So you're going to be meeting your future self, and you're going to be becoming your future self in real time. So we're going to use presence to get you into your future self. It's kind of like quantum jumping, but real practical. So those are some of the things we're going to do during the month. And if that calls to you, please go ahead and click the link below. I'm going to pin something in the comments. I'm also going to put it in the description bar. Okay, guys, so that's going to just about do it for today. I'm looking forward to teaching this month. I'm looking forward to meeting you at Master Your Mind, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.